And Tony, this is because the left never waste a moment of their time in power. I've seen this recently, a terrific piece by Joe Kelly in The Australian today. I mean, a small target Prime Minister. That's who Anthony Albanese said he would be. So a small change, did he say, or safe change before the election. Well, he's now turning into one of the most radical left-wing governments in our history, isn't he?
Look, that's absolutely right, Peter. And whatever you think of the left, they are relentless and they are believers. And in recent times, too many coalition politicians haven't looked like they are really convinced that they're on the right track. They haven't really created a contest with the other side. And if it's a choice between Labor and Labor Light, people tend to go for the real thing. If it's a choice between Labor and Labor without the unions, again, they tend to go for the real thing. So I hope that this podcast series will be a bit of an exercise in rediscovering on the centre-right where we really stand, what we really believe, and who we're really fighting for, so that the next coalition government, and let's hope it comes after the next election, will be better than the last one.
All right, this is another clip for our audience tonight. This is what you regard as the key difference between the left and the right when it comes to their view on society and culture. Have a listen.
Essentially, the left depends upon discontent, whereas the right wants to build upon content. The centre-right thinks, by and large, that our societies have done well and we should build on our strengths. The centre-left, by and large, thinks that our societies are plagued with all these problems.
Systems broken.
Systems broken, and it needs fundamental change. And this is one of the distinctions. And I suppose this is why the left now has to find all these cultural issues.
Your point there about people on the centre-right or Conservatives being satisfied and outside of politics working on people being content, Labor wanting to further build discontent, takes me back to John Howard's famous statement that ordinary Australians understood, but that the media elites lampooned, that he wanted Australians to be relaxed and comfortable, doesn't it?
Exactly right. And at the heart of the Liberal Conservative position is not just a preference for freedom, not just a commitment to limited government, but an appreciation for the social fabric, and above all else, a respect verging on reverence for the country that has made us. And that's why I say that we really, really do represent the patriotic party as well as the freedom party and the tradition party. Love of country is at the heart of a proper centre-right position.
Right, well, let's stay with that theme of patriotism. We had John Howard in The Australian today in an exclusive interview discussing The Voice. I went through this at the top of the show with my audience, but he asked a simple question. Why are we doing this to ourselves? And I'm sure you've asked yourself the same question, haven't you?
I certainly have, Peter, and I think the problem is that too many Australians have been led to believe that there is something shameful and fundamentally illegitimate about the country that we are. Now, I accept that not everything about our country is perfect, and certainly it has the odd blemish in its history. Some pretty serious mistakes were made at different times in the past, but nevertheless, the country that we are is something that all of us, I think, can be on balance proud of. I'm really pleased that the leaders of the No campaign are two proud Indigenous Australians, Jacinta Price and Warren Mundine, and I want us to go forward as one united people, not as essentially a divided country where, depending upon the length of time your ancestors have been here, you get more or less say over how government works.
Well, I'm going to leave it there, Tony Abbott, because I know we're going to talk about The Voice and many other things on our regular podcast. But again, thank you from me for finding time in your busy life to do this every fortnight. I look forward to your company.
Well, thank you for doing it, Peter.
Right, let's leave it there. You'll be able to get the first episode, as I said, from tomorrow via the Sky News app or wherever you get your podcasts.